Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And them good old boys down south, I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, you good old boys in Canada. You know we love you in Africa, the Big C tribe. But there's no one we love more than the good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave on a beautiful March the 8th, 2019, Big C. How's it going for you good old boys down south?
Well, Charlton, this morning I woke up and got it right, because yesterday I thought it was Friday, and today I found out it was Friday. So I have made it through the week, and I'm feeling great, man. I'm living for the weekend right now.
You're living for the love of the weekend, I tell you. This is, I think Ice Cube was in a movie called Friday, or something about Friday, and some good old boys were having a good time down in L.A., as they always do. It's a great day. I mean, California has experienced a lot of bad weather, especially, we don't have it much. I know on the East Coast and down south, you guys have had your own share, of bad weather, Big C, but we hope that after all the rains, it makes things grow and a lot more prettier. I want to say there's so much going on in the sports universe that a lot of people around the sports environments are always talking about the universe. I'm just appreciating that, Big C. On this beautiful, happy Friday, I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you, as well as a host of Cadillac cars. Today, of all days, is International Women's Day. And International Women's Day is just amazing, because we've been honoring that on the Big C Sports Show ever since we started on the sports universe, making sure that women and everybody else understands how important they are, Big C. I know we always talk about the Me Too movement, no violence against women, but National or International Women's Day, it began in 1909 with 15,000 women in New York City. By 1911, there was 1 million people, Big C. Now, this is celebrated all over the world, from the United States to Africa, United Kingdom, Austria, Denmark, Germany, Switzerland. In 1975, the nation officially declared the year that it's a Women's Year, International Women's Day. It has to happen to be the 8th of the March. I did not know about that until I was reading some articles on that, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you think about the push for National Women's Day, Charlton, you think about all the women that were advocates for equality in the United States in the late 60s and early 70s, Charlton. It really pushed the revolution about women empowerment, Charlton, equality, rights in the workplace, Charlton, be able to serve in the military, be able to serve in all walks of life, Charlton, be able to search for equal employment opportunities and equal pay, Charlton. Women have always been the vanguard out there, even though they haven't always gotten the notoriety, Charlton. Because of the strides that women have made in society over the years, even women are outliving men, Charlton, by 5 to 6 years here in the United States, Charlton. Because they're such activists, because they've been so strong in getting out there in the forefront, Charlton, to move along with our society. When you think about the advancements that women have made in technology, in politics, in business, Charlton, they have been in the forefront, and they've strived for equality the entire time.
And I just think for everyone, every day really is National Women's Day. There'd be no people on the planet without a woman, Big C. I mean, only Trump came out of a test tube. Everybody else was birthed into the world. And I appreciate the fact that we have a National Women's Day. And it doesn't mean that you only celebrate women that day. Hopefully, we can just let women know that they're loved, they're protected, make them feel safe, whether it's mothers, wives, or girlfriends, or daughters, whatever it is, sisters. I think as men, we cannot not hold up too lightly that oftentimes women look for men, even though people may not admit it in the Me Too movement. They do look for men to keep them kind of a safe. There's nothing wrong with chivalry, Big C. Is that old-fashioned to be chivalrous in your thoughts, Big C?
Well, no, Charlton, it's not old-fashioned. I mean, anybody who was raised the proper way, you know the ultimate respect in life is respecting a woman, Charlton. Your mother, your sisters, your daughters, your aunts, your grandmother, nieces, Charlton. This is what we do in life. This is what you do. This is how society stays strong. This is talking about family values. That's what respect of women are, Charlton. I know a lot of people in today's world, and the expedient society, instant gratification, Charlton.
Yeah.
We forget about who we owe thanks to on a day-by-day basis.
Yeah.
And that is the women that are in your life that have influenced you. And anyone who says, I've made it on my own, ask them who gave them that first bottle or that first feeding, Charlton, when they were an infant.
Yeah.
Ask them who was changing their diaper, who was taking them up from the scrape and bruises, Charlton.
Yeah.
Who helped them get down with their homework, Charlton? Who dropped them off at kindergarten?
Yeah.
Ask me, when you say that you made it on your own, that you're self-made, remember the woman who did all those things for you, Charlton.
Yeah, and that's true. That's real talk, Big C. So for all the women, all over the world, in fact, all the women all over the universe, national, it's like International Women's Day, but we've been doing it every day on the Big C Sports Show, just saying no violence against women and respect women. Everybody needs somebody to believe in them. Big C, I want to, there's something called being prescient. It's to have knowledge of things before they happen. And like I say, you've been called the mystic for so many years, many, many moons, as my Native American brothers would say, Big C. Many moons you've been called the mystic. There's sometimes when people will say, oh, somebody's copying somebody's style. There's something called plagiarism. Plagiarism when you use information from a source and you don't give knowledge or a footnote or reference to that source. Well, we know people do it all the time. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But I will say, we talked about the CBD issue yesterday, and it's not the first time. We talked about cannabis, and you mentioned in all the states that have professional sports teams that many of those states, like almost 90% of those states in some cases, as little as 70%, they have legalized marijuana in those states. We're not advocating for anything. However, it'd be a dumb person, especially an athlete that doesn't know what they're given to stop pain. But a lot of times when they're given something to stop pain, it causes mental issues, Big C. Some guys want to take their own lives. I heard a program today. It was on, I think it's called First Take with Stephen A. Smith, and I think there's a Max Kellerman. There's another guy that comes on there too. And I thought Big C, I said, Big C on another show without telling me they were doing the same show we did yesterday. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when people are wanting to sit around and say that they're against the use of cannabis product, Charlton, for pain relief, and trying to say, well, we don't know what it will lead to, that it will lead to the uses of stronger narcotics, Charlton. Narcotics are produced by pharmaceutical companies, Charlton.
Yeah.
So if a cannabis product is going to lead you to use something from a narcotics company, Charlton, why would that be bad? Yep. I mean, it's produced by the government. They force it on you anyway every day of the week, Charlton.
Yeah.
Well, when you think about what athletes and former athletes have to go through, Charlton, as far as trying to live each day, Charlton, with some sort of sense of relaxation in your life and to alleviate some of the pain that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Every day as an athlete, Charlton, as a professional athlete, I was fed narcotics.
Yep.
I was fed it. It was fed to me. Whatever I wanted, if I could pronounce the name of it, I could get it. And if I couldn't pronounce the name of it, Charlton, they would suggest it to me.
Wow.
That you want to try this. I still today, Charlton, and I've been out of the game over 30 years as a player.
Yeah.
I still consume on a daily basis more than 15 different narcotics, Charlton.
Wow.
To function daily. I have a set that I take in the morning. I have a set that I take at night, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's to get me through life. 8 months ago, not even 8 months ago, 7 months ago, I had a total hip replacement.
Yeah.
I had to have more medication, Charlton, just for that. For the side effects of that and the pain that I was getting away from, but also you have to adjust to it.
Yeah.
So I was added on to more medications even for that, Charlton. So when you sit up and you hear athletes talking about what they go through, you think about America. America will advocate, Charlton, alcoholism.
Yep.
They will advocate someone going to a bar, running up a tab, going getting in their car, and putting other human beings at peril driving down a roadway or a freeway, Charlton.
That's true.
That's an acceptable part of American society, for people to go out and consume copious amounts of alcohol. And you're going to do it at a sporting event. You're at a bar, Charlton, watching a sporting event.
Yeah.
You're going to do it when you're at a party. People are going to do that. But then they say, okay, if you try this cannabis product, Charlton, that will alleviate the pain, we want to make that illegal.
Right.
Because it's counterproductive to what the alcohol and beverage companies do, Charlton. that spend millions and millions of dollars in advertising is counter to what the pharmaceutical companies do, Charlton, who invest billions of dollars to make you become a drug addict and dependent.
Yep.
The biggest epidemic in this country is opioids, Charlton.
Yep.
It is the biggest epidemic in this country. The president wants you to believe that it's all coming from the southern border, and all you have to do is go to your local pharmacist or your doctor and get a prescription for it.
Yeah.
I got Oxycontin in my bathroom on the counter, Charlton, just one of many drugs that I take.
Yeah.
I get Oxycontin anytime I ask the doctor, I say, if I need some more. He'll write out a prescription for it.
Yep.
But I would rather use a cannabis product, Charlton, because of the side effects are less.
Yeah. There's a guy that played, I think his name's Kyle Turley. They did a program on the mothership, and he was talking about having some suicide issues. We know what happened to the late Junior Seau. So many players. That quarterback for the Bears, McMahon, has had so many issues. A lot of people have had it. But I was
Eric Kramer tried to commit suicide, Charlton. He was a quarterback. He's the last quarterback to take the Detroit Lions to the NFC Championship game against the Washington Redskins. He attempted suicide, Charlton.
Wow.
We know of many other former professional athletes, Charlton, that have committed suicide. And nothing has been done to help these athletes out. When we talk about CTE, Charlton, you talked about last night how cannabis product will alleviate seizures, Charlton, in minor children.
For the doctors,
that you can reduce children who are having over 100 seizures a day down to probably 10 or 12.
Yeah.
That is a drastic reduction, Charlton. And it's proven that this product works, Charlton. It is a natural product from the earth. It doesn't have to be chemically enhanced. It's a natural product from the earth. Yet there's so much fight back, Charlton, because of the pharmaceutical companies that if this isn't allowed in mass production and distribution, it's going to cost us and our shareholders money.
Yeah.
You think about it. American lives, Charlton, are not worth what a shareholder will make. Think about it. They would rather that Americans kill themselves from these pharmaceuticals other than that their shareholders lose money.
That's incredible. I ask any parent listening anywhere in the universe if your child can be healed or at least helped if they're having any type of medical issue. And again, we're not doctors, but I'm just telling you what I've heard from doctors on programs like CNN and ABC News, and even just reading that they've said that these substances are helping people, not hurting people. I just think at some point in time we got to wake up and stop acting like we're all dumb. If you have guys that are wanting to end their lives because they're given prescribed something that's legal, but we want to make things demonized that are natural and don't have the residual side effects, I think we got to be real about that, Big C. I wanted to say Grande dos Portes. That's Big C Sports in Espanol. I'm learning Espanol, Big C, for our Latin American brothers and sisters down south, and I hope that we don't keep demonizing them as the cause, because I can tell you this. When an NFL athlete, any pro athlete that's been in a very physical game where your body's having issues, those guys were not going, south of the border to get things that make them want to end their lives, Big C. Like you said, they were getting it from the doctors.
Contact Joe Montana out there in California.
Yeah.
He's a partner in one of the largest CBD companies in the state of California.
Sure
Joe
is.
Montana.
Yep.
4-time Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yep.
He's an advocate of it.
Yeah.
And if Joe is saying that it's good for you, think about the hits he took over his career.
Yeah.
Joe is like an American icon.
Yeah.
And he's telling people the benefits of it. But they don't want it advertised on television, because when you have these ex-high-profile athletes, Charlton, coming to the defense of the CDBs, Charlton, how do you fight that? Because these are people that everyone knows, loves, and believe in.
Yeah. Well, Big C, I know had the late Junior Seau had something like this introduced, perhaps he'd still be here, as well as a lot of other players. I even heard
Dave Durson, also Charlton, of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
When you think about these great players, Charlton, that have committed suicide over the years and had their brains donated for medical research, Charlton.
Yeah.
Which has been a travesty. I mean, medical research has always been there. But they told you what was wrong with these athletes, Charlton, what they were suffering from.
Yep.
And you don't know what the demons are. I mean, ask anybody, Charlton, who's had any type of body fusion in their back, in their spine, in their neck, and Charlton, the pains that they have gone through.
Yeah.
There are more Americans who are wanting to have assisted suicide, Charlton, because of chronic pain.
Yeah.
Because they can't have access to these things. That they've run the gamut in pharmaceuticals, Charlton. And the problem with the pharmaceuticals is that you have other organ damage from that, Charlton. Liver, kidneys, Charlton, heart. All these things occur from it, Charlton, from using these things.
Yeah.
Matt Millen, they just had a special on Matt Millen last week, Charlton, on television. Matt Millen, former Super Bowl winning linebacker with the Oakland Raiders and San Francisco, make that Washington Redskins.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, he was a GM of the Detroit Lions. But his heart was failing him, Charlton, because of all the narcotics that he took. They're not going to tell you that's what it was. They're going to tell you it was some disease.
Wow.
But this disease was pushed on, Charlton, by all the pharmaceuticals that he took as a player and even post-playing career.
Yeah.
It has damaged the body. I remember the same thing happened to a former Pittsburgh Steelers offensive lineman, Steve Corson.
Yeah.
He played with the Steelers and the Buccaneers, Charlton, and he had to have a heart transplant.
Yeah.
They all want to say it's attributed to something else, Charlton, but they all had the same medical diagnosis, Charlton, and that was from excessive narcotic use.
What was the movie?
Legal narcotics.
The movie that Will Smith did with Dr. Benamalu. Concussion. I mean, at some point in time, we can't stay dumb. I hope that we have this push for International Common Sense Day, especially when you have people saying their lives, guys can walk again. Guys can walk again. I heard some athletes say he was taking 60 pills a day, but it seems almost like hardly 60 a day. Have you heard of guys doing that, Big C, because of pain? Your thoughts?
James Hardy, Charlton, a former tight end with the Miami Dolphins. And I know he was doing 40, 48 pills a day, Charlton.
Wow.
And he's had 3 back surgeries. I mean, he couldn't hardly walk. He could hardly even get out of bed, Charlton. The only thing that he could function with was taking the pills all day long.
Wow.
But the pills, taking those all day long, Charlton, left him unfunctional.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie Cooks, former middle linebacker, first-round draft pick with Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
He was drafted in the same year Steve Edmonds was out of Washington.
Yep.
Cooks came out of Mississippi State. Here's a guy, Charlton, that can hardly walk because of back, knee, and hip problems from playing football.
Wow.
And he's addicted to opioids, Charlton. And, you know, he can't function. He can't even get a job because of the opioid dependency that he has.
Wow. I just hope, I love what you shared, Big C, because I know you're honest about that, and a lot of other guys, they don't have a platform to come on and be honest about what will save their lives, but they can have advertisements, you know, for going and get, you know, drinking up colleges all over the country. They have these keg parties, people sending their kids off to college so they can get high on a keg. That's dumb. But we know universities, they don't adopt
how many
that.
kids have died in these frat
party
inauguration things, Charlton,
yeah,
from alcohol poisoning. Matter of fact, there was two lawsuits last year where they were closing down fraternities with students that died of alcohol poisoning. One was at Penn State, I can't remember the other university.
Yeah.
But kids dying of alcohol poisoning in college. We've never heard of a child in college, Charlton, these hazing parties that they have at these fraternities. You've never heard of a child dying from marijuana overdose, Charlton.
Wow.
So we hear them dying from alcohol overdose. Well, alcohol poisoning, Charlton.
Let me ask you a question, Big C. You know how you talked about some of the challenges. We know what happened in the New Orleans Saints in the LA Rams football game. Everybody was told what you just saw with your eyes you didn't see. And you said when the Supreme Court legalized gambling, there'd be some of those shenanigans. I mean, how did you know that? Well, it happened. And now you see the states that are legalized, and I'm glad you did that. We talked about that yesterday. Those states that are legalized that substance, because they have the doctor's reports too. If they really want to keep people safe, I think they'll take a deeper look into it. I want to touch on something about Raison Rondo and LeBron James, because, and I'm going to paraphrase something that came off of his Instagram about people jumping on him for sitting on the end of the bench. You know, we talked about he'd done it like 12 times. He was never admonished the first or second or third, you know, fourth, fifth, sixth. It was yesterday. And what is amazing, because you said the same thing. Rajon Rondo said he wanted to congratulate his friend LeBron James because of everything he's done. He deserves all the success and happiness that God and the universe has to offer. Congratulations, my brother. Keep being great. Now, even he talks about the sports universe, Big C. Nobody talks like that. So I thank to Rajon Rondo following Big C Sports. But that's one thing that he talked about too, and you mentioned it yesterday. That was a similar moment in NBA history, that King James became the 4th highest scoring player in the history of the NBA universe. And everybody's talking about where Rajon's sitting on the bench. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, because the media nowadays is devoid of talent, all the great writers, Charlton, of the past are passing away. We don't have those iconic figures that can make you understand what you didn't see. So we have all these young upstarts. Let's talk about Raison Rondo sitting at this point on the bench. Where were they at over the last 3 or 4 months, Charlton, while he was doing that?
Yeah.
But because of the Lakers are in a tumble, Charlton, and may not make the playoffs, they're trying to build a negative story or parallel every time you see the Lakers. That you're concentrating on something other than they don't sing praise to the teams that beat the Lakers. And that's what bothers me the most,
That's true.
Charlton.
That's a good point.
Is that a team goes out and beats another team, and you're talking about the team that lost like they've been ripped off or done wrong.
Yeah.
They were outplayed by another opponent, Charlton. They act like because you have on the purple and gold, everybody's supposed to lay out the red carpet for you and say, do as you please.
Yeah.
This is not one of those massage parlors that, Robert Kraft goes through down in Florida, Charlton.
Yeah.
This is the NBA where everybody's out there and paid to win.
Yeah. Hey, Big C, not even being flippant. And maybe he does. But if Mr. Kraft and all those buddies that he has in his luxury box, if they understood that CBD could take away pain, maybe they wouldn't have to go down and pay women who are being, exploited. Okay? That's just something to think about. Big C, I want to get your thoughts on, you think about what's happening in the world of basketball. We're coming up on March Madness. LSU, the Tigers, should they skip the NCAA tournament and fire basketball coach Will Wade because of the black market deals? I know we talk about people who don't get paid, which are the athletes. The FBI probes into everybody's business. I don't think they should skip I don't think the players should be punished for what the coaches are doing. Your thoughts?
Well, I beg to differ with you on that because one of the players, the guard on the team, was the one receiving the money. And he's a starter on the team, Charlton. He's contributing 15 points a night.
Yeah.
Every contest. And he was paid to go there, Charlton. They had a fight over the amount of money they was getting. Wade was suspended today.
Yeah.
By the university. He should have just been fired outright, Charlton. What the FBI uncovered in this probe, Charlton, was factual because he had him on tape.
Yeah.
Not somebody else. It's him. Using all his profanity and everything else, crying to the player about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this and here it is yesterday. He denied yesterday. Well, I don't know what the report says. I have to wait till I can read it.
Wow.
He knew what he said on tape. When you're sitting there and lying, I mean, this is what he's doing.
Yeah.
You're lying on a college athlete. You're lying about yourself. They got FBI evidence. It's not like somebody recorded you, from another room. This is the FBI with a wiretap.
Yeah.
We're talking about the premier, police agency in the United States. Been tracking all these guys.
Yeah.
So I think that they should be eliminated from being able to play in the NCAA tournament, Charlton. If you're paid one, you're paid more than one. Don't ever think that it's only one player getting paid on a basketball team.
Wow.
When I was in college, Charlton, there were guys getting paid that weren't even playing. They weren't even on the roster.
Yeah.
All they got to do was practice, and they were getting paid.
Yeah.
So I know that players still today are getting paid. So, it is far reaching than Wade is, Charlton. You don't always get the big-time athletes because you got a program. I don't care if you're Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Charlton, St. John's, any of these schools. You don't keep getting the elite athletes because you say, well, this is where they want to come. They're not going there for an education, Charlton. They're going there for one and done, okay?
Yeah.
One and done, two at the max.
Yeah.
So they're not coming to your school because you have a great academic institution.
Yeah.
They're coming to your school because you have a great ATM for them to go to.
Wow. I tell you what, man. Grande Deportes. Thank you, Latin America, following Big C Sports, really growing numbers down south. Don't build that wall, Trump. I mean, they're going to go underground anyway, just like you get underground with your shin splints, if you understand what I'm saying. Longtime college rivals cap regular season final. Big C Saturday. Duke versus North Carolina really is like a national championship game, attention-wise and success-wise. You think about the late Dean Smith and how he was going up, against Coach K. And now you have so many players that have played at those two universities and then gone on to play NBA basketball, gone on to be successful in broadcasting in the business world. Now, if Williamson doesn't play, it's still a big game, but how much bigger is it if he plays, and should he play? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, all the luster is about Zion Williams. That's what this game is built around. How can he perform? Can Duke win without Zion Williams against North Carolina? We saw that they were drubbed the last time around, Charlton. I don't know if he should play in this game. I think he should wait at least another week, Charlton, to get to the tournament.
Yeah.
And let him, the more rest his leg can get, the better off he can be. But we all know it's about marketing and money, Charlton. He's going to be gone after this season. They're going to get all out of him that they can. But I think they will err on the side of caution, Charlton, and not play him this weekend.
Yeah, I hope Coach K, he's the one. And number 7, Michigan visit number 11, Michigan State. The winner will share at least a tie for the Big 10. And they should call it the Big 19 or the Big whatever conference, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this is a hated in-state rival, Charlton.
Yeah.
Ann Arbor versus East Lansing. Mason Blue versus green and white.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what you live for, is that the final game of the season, Charlton, that you can play your in-state rival and conference rival.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that in college basketball, whether it's Duke, North Carolina, whether it's Michigan State, Michigan.
Yeah, that's true, Big C. I love to see some great plays coming into the conference championships and then into March Madness. Number 8, Texas Tech at number 25, Iowa. With Kansas State now officially out of the Big 12 regular season race, is down to Texas Tech and Kansas State, who are tied for the lead heading into the finals. It's hard to not imagine Kansas being one of the top teams in their conference. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charlton, you look at the rise of the basketball program down there in Lubbock, Texas. Texas Tech has been in the top 25 all year long, Charlton. They've steadfast in holding their ground in the conference. And it's just good to see the changing of the guard periodically in the conference. But, if Texas Tech doesn't win, the title still stays in the state of Kansas with Kansas State.
Yeah, and then you think about on Sunday. I thought Sunday's reserved for Christmas, and not Christmas, but, Christ, church, going to church, Big C. And you have college programs on Sunday. Number 12, Houston, at number 19, Cincinnati, a top 20 matchup. That's the American Athletic Conference showdown. They don't go to church in the American Athletic Conference, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Calvin Sampson has turned that program around down there at Houston, Charlton. Everybody remember them for Phi Slamma Jamma under Guy Lewis. But Kelvin Sampson has come in from travels from Oklahoma and Indiana. He's landed firmly down in Houston, Texas, Charlton. Had that program in the top 20 in the country, Charlton. It's a great atmosphere down there in that arena.
Yeah, and I also want to, because, being fair, we talked about LSU. There's 2 more college basketball programs that are alleged to be in a fraud case. You think about Corey Wade. LSU, we have that issue. We know that. We also have Creighton University, TCU, not been charged yet, but they're under investigation. As far as I know, when you're under investigation, they tend to go where the smoke is, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, they had wiretaps in those situations also. They were talking with the same men that had been convicted the other day and sentenced the time in prison, Charlton.
Wow.
So these coaches will be going under the radar, Charlton, and you look for a suspension to be coming at those 2 schools soon.
I tell you what, it's a shame because it's almost like a cavity. When you find one, you normally find others. And I don't know if the NCAA really wants to look heavy and having their schools be investigated. Big C, you talked about things that so many people have talked about over the years. It's not a secret that people, when money's in the picture, they'll go to certain schools. They may even throw certain games. Pro athletes, betting on sports, decide to get out of that sport for a year, try a different sport, come back. Everybody knows it's like somebody said down south, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Why do they want to have these programs looking into the investigations as opposed to finding a way to pay their players who are being exploited also? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, the thing you have to be leery of is be careful what you wish for. You wish for more exposure through multimedia, Charlton. As the exposure through multimedia keeps reaching out there and you have these so-called reporters trying to do this investigation thing that's going on, Charlton, these things are going to become exposed more and more, Charlton, as we look at it.
Yeah.
The only way to remedy this, Charlton, is that we get some legislation to say that college athletes are going to get paid.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see more and more programs and coaches get suspended and fired in the upcoming years.
Yeah, and I don't want to see the whole sport brought down because it hurts the kids trying to get an education that are doing things the right way. They're not the ones doing things that way.
You're not trying to get an education. Let's be real about that.
That's a good point as well, Big C. And we know sometimes if you get a kid that doesn't have a lot of options, they're the ones that are going to pay the price, even though the owners of these organizations Really, there's the sponsors. Sponsors own these sports programs. Nobody's doing a sporting event if they don't have a big sponsor in that stadium. I want to say sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is a foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, a high school team, or your mom and pop soccer league. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. I just want to say, you know that it's a dirty business. And unfortunately, the collateral damage, Big C, are the poor athletes. It's not the rich guys that make the money of millions and then leave. And we know that we've seen it happen time and time again. With all this investigation, why they're not putting on the fact that not paying players for their labor is an antitrust violation? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, there has been legislation. There's going to be legislation put forth toward that. The NCAA understands this is antitrust. But the NCAA is also greedy, Charlton. The coaches are greedy. You know, it would be like NFL owners saying, okay, we got to let a case go to court.
Yeah.
And we're going to open up our books to let you know exactly how much money we make in this nonprofit organization that we're running and making billions out of every year.
Yeah.
That's where the NCAA is, Charlton. You got all of these student athletes, alleged student athletes, going out participating in these sporting events.
Yeah.
And the universities are making millions of dollars off of them, Charlton. Millions.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions, depending on the university. And these advertising companies, Charlton, these broadcast companies, they're making billions.
Oh, yeah.
The last person you want to get some money is the labor.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay these guys, Charlton. You're making billions off of somebody for free.
Yeah.
This is the reason why you televise March Madness, Charlton. You expanded it from the original 16 teams that they had. They're like, we're not making enough money out of this. Let's go to 32.
Yeah.
Damn, we made a lot more money with 32 teams. Let's expand it to 64.
Yep.
Wow, you know, look at the money we made with 64. Matter of fact, let's have a couple of play-in games. So we'll add a couple of play-in games, make it 68, Charlton.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. So it's about money. It's about pimping the student athlete. Be honest.
Yeah.
You're pimping them. Because the pimp gets all the money and the worker's getting none of it. That's what the NCAA is and all the broadcast companies, Charlton.
Yep.
It's a pimp pimping a pimp and got a worker that's getting nothing.
That's awfully true, Big C. Down in the state where everybody does things big, Texas, quarterback Sam Ellinger, he compared playing college football to a full-time internship without the compensation. I think Texas holds about 102,000 fans down there. They could even put in more.
They're going to expand the stadium.
They're expanding that stadium to 102,000. They're expanding the stadium so the kids can get good education. Is that what I understand? Why they're going to expand? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, think about what Sam Ellinger said, Charlton.
Yeah.
You go to any company in America, and everybody's listening has some intelligence about them.
Yeah.
You go, okay, I'm going to come and I'm going to work as an intern in your company.
Yeah.
Hoping to move on to this other company where I have a 0.2 chance of getting a job with them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to work for you for free for 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything that you ask of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to dedicate 40 hours a week to you. I'm going to go out on one day on the weekend where you'll make several $1 million off of my labor.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're going to give me a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You're going to give me a couple Subway sandwiches or whatever, and tell me good job.
Yeah. They got it.
But I'm going to come back to work again on Monday and start this all over again, Charlton.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this for 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do, 9 to 10 months out of the year. I'm going to work as an intern without compensation.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me, well, you get a chance to learn everything that's in these books that we have.
Yeah.
We're just not going to pay you for it. Would anybody in America take their job for 4 years, Charlton?
No, nobody, unless you worked in the White House because you got other benefits, Big C. But thinking about that in the antitrust, all the attention for college basketball this weekend is Duke, North Carolina. But you think about where it should really be. Mark Walker, a Republican congressman, represents North Carolina, plans to propose a bill that allows the NCAA, the athletes, to be able to make a profit for themselves off of their imagery and their likeness. And the third parties, that the bill will be called the Student Athletes Equity Act. You have congressmen who are doing what the NCAA won't do, and they're trying to at least address it. And I'm glad that the congressman is at least bringing it attention to everybody. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I'm glad that at least he's a Republican saying that the athletes are being misused. Even though
Yeah.
the bill won't pass, Charlton,
You don't think so?
and everybody knows that the assets are being misused, somebody will get some payments and say, hey, yeah, they're being misused, but can't you use this extra $200,000 here?
Yeah.
Just to vote, against this bill. We'll let it get close. We'll let it get a little momentum,
Yeah.
but we won't let it pass. And
Wow.
here's $200,000 not to let it pass. That's all it takes, Charlton. They're not the NCAA, Charlton, has always had the ability
Yeah.
to let the players earn revenue off their likeness, Charlton, off anything that resembles them, whether it's a bobblehead, whether it's a T-shirt, jersey, Charlton,
Yeah.
something with that player's likeness on it, or even audio. They have fought against that, Charlton. Just like I said, the NFL will never go to court because they have to open their books.
Yeah.
The NCAA is just like the NFL, Charlton. We're not going to open our books. You think about this. Every state, there's 50 of them in the United States.
Yeah.
You realize who the highest paid state employee is, Charlton, in all 50 states in America?
Those college
It's
coaches.
a coach
Yeah.
at a university. Those are the highest paid state employees in 50 states in the United States. Is a coach at a university, Charlton.
And usually the Caucasian, which is the color of many of the people doing the investigation, hey, would an extra $200,000 make you look away? I think it would for a lot of people, Big C. But we talked about being International Women's Day. I also want to say it's International Big C Sports Day. Rondo Portes. Big C Sports, love you, Latin America. U.S. women's soccer team. They sue their employer, the U.S. Soccer Federation, for gender discrimination. That's so important because if you don't sue people, oftentimes they'll just keep doing the status quo. Well, if you don't complain, why would I change? Give me your thought on that, Big C. We have Olympic girls in the gold medals, world championships, and men that don't even come close to receiving the same amount of money. And when it comes to bonuses, men have received over $5.5 million in bonuses and have won nothing during that time that we have women winning Olympic gold medals. And it's a shame. Your thoughts?
Well, the U.S. women, soccer women, Charlton, have won 3 gold medals in the Olympics.
Yeah.
They have won 4 world championships, Charlton, and they are not compensated in the same way that the men are, Charlton. They don't get equality in travel. They don't get equality in pay. They don't get equality in accommodations, Charlton.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, the men during this same time, Charlton, have received $5.5 million in bonus from the U.S. Soccer Federation.
Yeah.
They have not won one World Cup. They have not won one Olympic gold medal. But they're treated like paradigms of virtue, Charlton.
Yeah.
And the women are treated like third-class citizens when it comes to that, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they have been the only one to represent America on the world stage when it comes to soccer, Charlton. The men got eliminated from the last go-around. They didn't even make the World Cup.
Yeah, that's
Yet
a
the
shame.
women are in there fighting for the World Cup title.
Yeah.
But yet they say the men's team is what represents America, Charlton. This has been inequality at the utmost, Charlton, in sports, especially professional sports.
Yeah.
That the women are upholding the stage for America in soccer prominence, and our men are just dragging along and making all the benefits from it.
Well, I want to also, we talk about how sports can really galvanize our society, but sports really is a microcosm of how people interact. And we deal with the exploitation primarily of older white men who exploit other people, whether it's workers or people in massage parlors. I'm not being flippant. The Miami Herald published a story Friday, just today, showing a photograph of POTUS, Big C, a Super Bowl 53 viewing party with a Chinese entrepreneur whom the Herald credits with having found a handful of baseballs, in South Florida, including the one under surveillance by authorities for a prostitution sting. Now, this is International Women's Day, and that led to a misdemeanor solicitation charge against Bob Kraft. I guess you could say he's the most successful owner in sports. There's no one better than him right now as far as winning, Big C. Is also dealing with the exploitation of women, even though they want to give them a slap on the wrist. Big C, that's still, women can't stand up for themselves when they're being, held against their own will or threatened to be deported. But that's still another example, just like the NCAA exploiting those young athletes, mostly black. Old white men are doing the same thing to women in these massage parlors, and there's sports guys doing it too. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I told you when this story broke on Robert Kraft that there was an individual down in Jupiter, Florida that was much bigger than Robert Kraft who lived in a big White House in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You can go back and check. I told you this when the story broke on Robert Kraft about him being, investigated for solicitation of prostitution. That there was an individual bigger than him that lived in the house. And I stood by that story, and today it was released by the Miami Herald, Charlton, a photograph of the president with Lee Yang, who has built these strip centers, Charlton, with these massage parlors down in Jupiter, Florida. Yeah. He was at a Super Bowl viewing party with this individual. Now, Charlton, his relationship with this individual reaches way back. Like I said, he has a golf course down there. Yeah. Because the Southern White House, where he is all the time. Yeah. And so if you're with Lee Yang, Charlton, what's the affiliation? You hang out with guys who have strip malls, Charlton? Yeah. Let's be realistic. They're stripping for another reason for you. Well. And so this came out today. And I talked about it. I told everybody this was an individual that was much bigger than Robert Kraft. And they were trying to keep it under wraps, Charlton. And now that this has come out, which way will Robert Kraft get off of this, Charlton? Will he be, as you say, get a pardon before you go to trial? Well, you know what? I just want to throw up this juxtaposition with Kraft, and because we cover all entertainment, Big C, and people can Google it. I mean, it's not our opinion. It's just, you can Google it. I look at what's going on. I think there was a Gail did an interview with R. Kelly, and people have said if you represent yourself in court, you have a dummy for a lawyer. Now, I don't know why he'd be up saying anything on TV, because mainstream media will spin it as you're guilty. Now, the thing with Kraft, we know these girls were held against their will. We know that. No one went there and volunteered to do that. Okay? They just didn't. Now, in the R. Kelly, I don't know either. I'm just asking the thoughts to everybody in the universe. With the R. Kelly situation, you have some of those women coming on TV saying, no, their parents, they kind of put them in that situation to get some money. I've heard about that when I was growing up, a young boy, that some people would do that. I'm not making excuses for anybody, not Kraft, not R. Kelly. But I know one person's being demonized, happen to be black. There's a lot of powerful white men who have women held against their will, paying them to perform illegal services. And everybody's acting like it's just a slap on the wrist. Why is there a difference, Big C? Your thoughts? Well, the difference is if you just realize what happened with Jesse Smollett in Chicago, Charlton, he was hit with 16 felony counts today by the grand jury in Chicago for this stage hoax that he had. Yeah. And he had gone on television, Charlton, vehemently denying everything and asking how could people doubt him. R. Kelly has had videotapes out of him for years, Charlton, just like Robert Kraft being caught on a videotape. Yeah. What did Robert Kraft do when they said they had video of Robert Kraft? Did you hear from Robert Kraft? Did you see Robert Kraft? No. Did he sit down with a news outlet saying, I deny this? No, Charlton, you hire an attorney. Yeah. At some point, you have to have somebody representing you in these scenarios. R. Kelly getting on television defending himself when people have seen videos of R. Kelly, Charlton, that was the wrong thing for R. Kelly to do. Yeah. And all you're doing is damaging yourself, Charlton, by going out there, vehemently denying that what you see on video is not me. Yeah. Robert Kraft didn't do that, even though the FBI said Robert Kraft did this, Charlton. Yeah. Robert Kraft is denying it. R. Kelly, his best defense was not to say anything, Charlton. You hire an attorney for a reason. If you don't want an attorney, Charlton, don't waste the money on him and then go on television saying it's not me. Yeah. Yeah, this is for other men who are in situations where you don't know if you're ever going to be accused of anything. But only a fool represents himself and go on TV. I mean, Gayle King, she's there to make news. She's not there to find out the truth. She's there for her news program to get a story. And she got it. And don't think that just because you have the same skin complexion, she's with you or against you. I'm not advocating for anybody, Kraft or R. Kelly. I'm just saying for anyone accused of anything, don't be so dumb as to grant a TV interview thinking you're going to talk your way out of something stupid. Paul Manafort, Big C, the POTUS's former campaign manager, he gets 47 months in jail for a crime that normally gets you 19 to 24 years. Is the disparity because of racism or because he has white judges and prosecutors determining they don't want to send one of their own to jail for the same amount of time they would give a person of color? Your thoughts? Charlton, that was an African-American woman who was sent back to prison last year for voting while she was on parole. she was given an additional 5 years in prison for voting while she was on a parole. She thought because she was out, Charlton, she had the right to vote.
Wow.
But she was on parole. Here's Paul Manafort, federal crimes, Charlton, that the normal sentencing is 19 to 24 years.
Yeah.
A judge gave him 47 months and 9 months time served. So he basically has 38 months, Charlton,
Yeah.
of jail time that he has to do.
Yeah.
That's a slap on the wrist for a guy who is committing federal crimes, tax evasion, lying, and all that. This is the disparity between complexion and finance, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because you can afford such a strong defense, Charlton, that you can get people to plead for you. And you had the federal prosecutors, Charlton, asking for the maximum sentence.
Wow.
And you had your people come in and persuade a judge to give you less than normal, Charlton, not even a quarter of what it should be.
Yeah.
When you can get less than 4 years, Charlton, on something that the minimum sentencing is 19 years, Charlton, this is what politics and finance will do for you, Charlton, and skin complexion.
Yeah, when you hear about Black Lives Matter, where's Laura Ingraham telling people to shut up and dribble now? Where are these people like Hannity and Limbaugh and Geraldo Rivera?
Oh, well, they were all saying that Manafort got too much time. He shouldn't have got any time at all.
Wow.
That's what they're saying. They're saying that was too much time for him.
Yeah.
For something that he did a decade ago, Charlton.
Yeah.
Or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago. That it had nothing to do. If you commit a federal crime, Charlton, you commit a federal crime.
Wow. Is Geraldo Rivera still a person of color, Big C? I know he he tried to pull up some suitcase or some...
It all depends on who's writing his paycheck, Charlton.
Yeah, that's a shame. I used to respect Geraldo Rivera, but I guess money buys anybody whatever they want. I want to get on one more thing because I just want to make sure. We just had this situation in Northern California where the 22 gunshots is a lot. And I know the whole story, especially for a person of color, if you're a parent. And I'm speaking to the people in Northern California, the ones that don't listen, the ones that don't, just like R. Kelly, defend yourself is dumb. Teach our kids to comply. But I want to do something, Big C, because sometimes you got to see something to see the reality of it. I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's never happened to a white kid in the history of this country. Give your example again that you did so eloquently. Why it's so important to just obey when you're told to lay down, stop running, stop talking, shut up, stop, hands down, hands up. Don't take off and run. Big C, that make any sense? March is not going to help. Your thoughts?
Charlton, marches are not going to solve a problem. As we talk about walking up and down the street, Charlton, after the fact, you have to educate before that situation can occur, Charlton. If you have discipline in your home, you have structure in your home, then your young man, your young lady is not going to be running down an alley, breaking up windows, Charlton, at midnight. They're not going to do that, Charlton. If you have family value, Charlton, you don't put your children in peril. And 99% of these times, Charlton, the parent has put their child in peril. Don't say that it's just the young person.
Yeah.
Don't say it's the police officer. The parent has put their child in peril. Charlton, we can look across America regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of economic background, Charlton, and you see solid home values all across this country, Charlton.
Yeah.
Where we don't hear about that on the news. We don't talk about the positive things that happens in families, and even black families, Charlton, on the news.
Yeah.
But the minute we have one of these situations that happens, Charlton, and it's horrific regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah.
We're always talking about somebody was done wrong.
Yeah.
We don't talk about what this parent did to bring their child up. Interview the parent. Let me know how your child did. What was their GPA in school?
Yeah.
Were they ever kicked out of school, Charlton? How many times did you attend the Parent Teachers Association? All the things that provide for proper upbringing, Charlton,
Yeah.
they never bring that into question. They want to blame somebody that was trying to do their job, Charlton, and serve and protect.
Yeah.
But they take no culpability, Charlton, in what they failed on as a parent.
Yeah, and I would just say, because I grew up in the church, Big C, and we taught to believe in God and have faith in the law, but believe in God. And I would just say a lot of pastors do a lot of good work, but I think the wrong message is being sent when you're going to jail because somebody broke the law and they did not listen when they were told to stop. Don't challenge law enforcement. They were not they're marching and trying to be arrested to go to jail too. What are you teaching your own kids? Some of those pastors have money to get bailed out, but some of those poor folks that follow them, they don't. Quit telling people we got to march and shut down the business. No, tell our kids to obey the law and don't break the law.
Go to school and get on the dean's list.
Yeah.
Be on the honor roll.
Yep.
Tell me which one of these kids that have been shot, Charlton, have been on the honor roll. Tell me that. I know everybody can't make it, but tell me how many of them were A students, Charlton. Tell me how many of them didn't miss a day of school, Charlton, in their lifetime.
Yep.
Let's start looking at some positive things that they did not do, Charlton.
Yeah.
Let's not just look at the end of their lives, Charlton. What forced them to end that way, Charlton? Let's look at the whole picture.
I agree. And and I know sometimes we get criticized. Oh, I can't believe that you're going against. No. Listen to authority keeps your life longer. I want to just touch on one more subject, but it's about professional football and how a lot of times, like you said, it's International Women's Day. And some people say, hey, I made my success on my own. I just want to contribute a story. NFL football player, it's Friday, Antonio Brown, he's still a Pittsburgh Steeler. On March 17th, he's due a $2.5 million, raise. Now, a bonus. He talked about where he grew up down in Florida, meaning a lot of people don't make it out. Now, he has a great opportunity to be an example, but he can't be an example for everybody. But I just want to get your thoughts on, he came from nothing. I won't say nothing because just because you don't have money don't mean you're nothing. So I resent that when people say I came from nothing. They came from people who raised them. It's up to you to follow the law and do your best. So he's made it out. But give me an example of what message can he send to other young people back in that area of Florida where he grew up. I just want to get your thoughts on it, Big C.
Well, Charlton, what he did, the first thing in getting out of that, Charlton, was going to college.
Yep.
Education was first and foremost.
Yep.
Regardless of where Antonio Brown is now, Charlton, when you look at a lot of people that he grew up with didn't make it because they lacked education. They said, education means nothing for me.
Yeah.
Everyone only wants to look at where Antonio Brown is today, being a very wealthy professional athlete, Charlton. But he spent 4 years in college, Charlton, in Western Michigan, getting an education, staying academically eligible, understanding how to deal with society's perils.
Yeah.
This is what people are not discussing about Antonio Brown. Everyone talks about saying he's a troublemaker, disgruntled and all that. No one talks about his education and his upbringing, Charlton.
Yeah.
He fought to get out of the environment that he was brought up in. He was not going to become a statistic. And because he fought with everything that he had, every fabric of his life, Charlton, he could become a success story in the NFL. Charlton, he was a 7th-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
He's always had the odds against him his entire life.
Yeah.
He goes in, he makes one of the most storied franchises in NFL history, Charlton. Becomes the most elite receiver in that franchise history, Charlton.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to give him a hard time, saying, well, he just won't conform to the norm. He won't walk the line. Why should he, Charlton? He's never had to, Charlton. He's had to fight for everything he's gotten. He's still fighting today for the next thing that he's going to get.
Yeah.
And because he won't do what these sports writers and sports broadcasters say, all of a sudden he's bad medicine, Charlton. He's not the guy on the Pittsburgh Steelers to be charged twice, Charlton, in sexual assault cases, okay?
Amen.
He's not that guy.
No, he's not.
But he's the cancer of the Steelers, as they want to say. He's the one who's disrupting the locker room. Go after the guy that sexually assaulted 2 women over an 11-month span that's on that Pittsburgh Steelers team, Charlton.
Yep.
No one says anything negative about him.
Well, they tried to keep that hush-hush, Big C. So, I appreciate Antonio Brown for standing up and saying, it's my life. I want to advocate for where I go. Owners get to do it. Coaches get to do it. I see a young man doing the same thing. I think him just being who he is, he's listened to himself to get him where he is now and some great coaches. If he wants to go on, there's a lot of players don't get that choice, Big C. I want to just finish up on some NBA because right now every day is like a playoff day. The Thunder last night, what a game. I missed it, though. I thought Portland would hold serve at home. The Thunder overcame Damian Lillard. He dropped 51 points, Big C, and they had an overtime loss to the Russell Westbrook, who poured in 37 points and a 129-121 win. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, this was a game for third place in the West, and this was a game that had a lot of battles in it, Charlton. A lot of technical fouls in the game. players being ejected. But, you know, in the end, Charlton, it's about heart when it comes down. When you talk about playoff basketball, Charlton, you got to be able to win on the road. OKC is able to go on the road now, Charlton, and hold court. They can challenge you in your own home arena and come out victorious.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. And I just want to say one more thing about athletes that compete. You think about all the top players all over the country, Big C. These young black men, a lot of them come from environments that may not have that whatever environment Donald Trump came from, where your dad's giving you $100 million to get started in life. But they're, for the most part, they put their cities on their back, and they're bringing their city some great action. Tonight's NBA basketball. Also, I just want to touch on last night. Congratulations, Milwaukee with the solid win over Indiana. Friday night's action, Big C, Dallas at Orlando. Washington at Charlotte. We have Cleveland at Miami. Detroit is at Chicago. I want to get your thoughts. Philadelphia at Houston. I don't know the stat of Joel Embiid, but I think Harden goes for at least 30. Your thoughts?
Well, Embiid will miss another game tonight, and Harden, you know, has Houston on track right now, Charlton. They're starting to catch their stride, and they can create some havoc in the West. They're not going to be an easy out. They're not going to win the conference like they did last year, Charlton. They'll most likely be about a fourth seed in the playoffs. But they're a team that nobody wants to see when it comes to the playoffs.
They don't want to see them. Toronto goes down to New Orleans. Don't eat those donuts if you're from Canada. I hear they eat a lot of fish and sushi up in Canada. Don't get surprised by that southern hospitality. Sometimes a lot of grease food makes you a little bit sleepy, Big C. Utah is at Memphis. The big game tonight is Denver at Golden State. It's a 10:30 tip-off Eastern time. This is for number one, number two in the Western Conference. The team that loses this game, they still could have a chance ending up the number one seed. But no matter whether you're number one or two, this game is so important for, I guess, I won't say ego, but for posturing, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, Golden State is hoping to get Klay Thompson back in the lineup. He's missed the last couple of games with some knee soreness. You know, everybody thought that Golden State, they could just nail it in this year, Charlton, that there would be no challenges since the Lakers had acquired LeBron James, and they knew that the Lakers would not challenge in the West for superiority.
Yeah.
But when you look at the Warriors, Charlton, they haven't moved as fluidly as you thought they would through the season.
No.
When you look at Denver, they're led by Jokic, Charlton, who is only second in double-doubles in the NBA this year. Triple-doubles to Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So Jokic is the man that everything goes through in Denver, Charlton. Can Boogie Cousins stay out of foul trouble and stay on the court long enough to challenge him?
Yeah, hopefully he can do that, Big C. Oklahoma City, after the big overtime win last night up in Portland, it's tough to play up in Portland, but they pulled it off. Do they have enough juice in the tank down in L.A. against the Clippers, which is the best team in L.A., but the most, the least favorite professional sports team probably in L.A. OKC have enough tonight, Big C, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, they have enough, Charlton. I mean, even though the Lakers are 5 games out of that 8th playoff seed, Charlton, there's still enough time to make that up. You got to knock off teams like the Clippers. You got to knock off teams like Sacramento, Charlton, to move yourself up in the position.
Yeah.
And when you're playing a lot of conference teams this time of the year, Charlton, I still wouldn't be surprised to see the Lakers ease into the 8th spot once the playoffs start.
Well, they're hoping that the Clippers can fall tonight because Boston over the weekend is at L.A., and then Sacramento's at New York. The Garden has lost its luster, of course, because they don't win. But the Sacramento Kings are still on the outside looking at it. If they could go 8-2, the next 10 games, that's not realistic. But if they get Bagley back, that's going to help them maybe play 50-50 basketball. But I want to get your thoughts. Sacramento going to the East Coast with a noontime start in New York, and then Boston coming to the West Coast to play the Lakers on Saturday. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, if you got a noontime start charge in New York, that's going to be tough for Sacramento. That's 9 a.m. clock that they're on. They're not used to playing basketball that early in the morning.
No.
I don't see Boston losing to the Lakers, but if anything can happen, Charlton, they can lose to the Lakers if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that you want to get them in the playoffs. But if they lose to Boston, Charlton, they're completely eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, you got Brooklyn at Atlanta, Big C, Washington and Minnesota. You never know what to expect out of Minnesota. And you have Phoenix at Portland. Last NBA game, Charlotte at Milwaukee. Milwaukee had a big win against Indiana last night. Charlotte, they're a playoff team for the most part. Any thoughts of a letdown, your thoughts?
No, Charlton, right now Milwaukee's running on all cylinders. When you can get 3 of your starters every night, Charlton, pumping in over 20 points a game, you don't have any any competition in the East. They're the best team in the East. Right now, Charlton, they're the favorite to win the NBA title.
Oh, really? I would hate to see that, Big C, because I'm still out here in Golden State territory. I want to get your thoughts. Last few minutes, should the All-Star games be banned? NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, they're not a showcase any longer. I still think the NBA's done it right. I think the NFL's done it wrong with the Pro Bowl. Your thoughts?
Well, Jonathan, I don't think any All-Star game right now gives the fan the utmost enjoyment. You're going out there, you're watching guys really do nothing defensively. Everybody's out there playing not to get hurt, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you don't want to see in an All-Star game, Jonathan, is one of the league's most elite players getting injured. So players go out there and take it easy on each other.
Yeah.
And as a fan, when was the last time that an All-Star game, Jonathan, drew top ratings? They just don't. Not even the NBA All-Star game, Jonathan, did it win its timeshare on television that day. The AAF beat out the NBA All-Star game. So Jonathan, fans want to see somebody who's competing.
Yeah.
They don't want to just see you out there. That's watching practice.
Yeah. Yep, and practice. You talk about practice? Well, maybe they should go back to 1971, a date that changed how a lot of people look at sports. Big C, your thoughts?
Jonathan, to me, it was one of the most significant days in my life, Jonathan. 1971, Madison Square Garden, two undefeated heavyweights fighting for the world championship, Jonathan. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier at the time. The most significant fight in American boxing history, Jonathan. This was a fight, I mean, I cried when Ali lost his fight.
Wow.
This fight went the distance. Ali fought with a broken jaw, Charlton, from the 7th round on in this fight. This show the heart and character of this man. He didn't give up like a lot of fighters would, Charlton.
Yeah.
This was the first of two fights that he had a broken jaw, and he had a broken jaw against Ken Norton 3 years later, Charlton, in a fight in San Diego.
Wow.
But this fight was so significant in the history of America, Charlton. We had a civil rights activist, Charlton, that had been banned by the United States government for earning a living. The same thing that the current president refused to go into the army for, Charlton. This man was banned from earning a living and stripped of his title when he could not fight anywhere in the world, Charlton. But he was such an advocate and a source of strength for black people in America at that time, Charlton, and people that were being oppressed all over the world for their religious beliefs.
Wow.
But Muhammad Ali stood fast, Charlton. He was that iconic strength of black America. After we had lost Martin Luther King, Charlton, we still had Muhammad Ali carrying the torch for black people, and he carried it with grace.
Yeah.
But this fight, Charlton, it will always live in infamy. But it was the most changing moment for me in my sports life, Charlton. It showed me that I did not have the ability to give up.
Wow.
That I did not have the ability to quit. It made me strong. It made me go forward, Charlton, against all odds, even at that time in America.
That's very well said. And speaking of the guy who was always his right-hand man, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble, Big C. What are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Jonathan, this is a great weekend for college athletics and college basketball. We got so many tournaments starting across the country, Jonathan. Just great play. We're getting ready for March Madness, Jonathan. We're going to have selection committee coming out here real soon next weekend, Jonathan.
Yep.
Pitting those teams across the country, moving teams to different regions, Jonathan, in search of the holy grail, the NCAA championship.
Well, Grande Deportes, we love you in Latin America. We love you all over the universe. Every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever an excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911, because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.